Genesis 38 takes us on an unexpected story, full of twists, turns, morality, and redemption, centered on Judah, one of Jacob's sons. Judah leaves his brothers and goes to live among the Canaanites, marrying a local woman. He has 3 sons, Er, Onan, and Shelah. When Er, the firstborn, marries Tamar, he becomes displeasing in the eyes of God and dies. According to the Levite tradition, Onan should marry Tamar to produce offspring for his brother, but he refuses to fulfill his duty, defying cultural and spiritual norms. Onan is also punished by God and dies. Fearing for Shelah, Judah deceives Tamar, promising her that she will marry his younger son, but he never fulfills his promise. Tamar, determined to secure her place and inheritance in the lineage, disguises herself as a prostitute and deceives Judah, who ends up sleeping with her without knowing her identity. Tamar becomes pregnant, and when her pregnancy is discovered, Judah initially condemns her until she reveals that he is the father. Recognizing her righteousness, Judah declares, "She is more righteous than I." Tamar gives birth to twins, Perez and Zerah, and her story becomes a vital part of the lineage of Jesus Christ, proving that God can redeem even the most difficult situations. Subscribe to the channel, and stay with us until the end for a message that can change your life. Genesis 38 is a challenging and deeply meaningful chapter, highlighting themes of justice, redemption, and the consequences of human actions. The story of Judah and Tamar is a reminder that even in the midst of human failure, God is able to accomplish his greater purpose. Judah, who had participated in the sale of Joseph, faces his own moral failings when he deceives Tamar and then tries to judge her. Tamar, on the other hand, represents determination and courage in seeking justice in a system that puts her at a disadvantage. Her story is a testament to the fact that God uses unexpected people and situations to fulfill his plans, for the Messiah would come from her lineage. Judah's confession, "She is more righteous than I," is a moment of self-reflection and recognition of his responsibility. The chapter also points to the importance of treating everyone with dignity and fairness, especially those in vulnerable positions. Ultimately, Genesis 38 teaches us that God is sovereign and can transform even our mistakes into something great for his glory. The cultural context of Genesis 38 is deeply rooted in ancient Near Eastern practices, particularly in the laws of marriage and inheritance. Levite marriage, in which the brother of a deceased man was supposed to marry his widow in order to produce descendants, was a common practice, recorded in codes such as that of Hammurabi. These laws were essential to ensuring the continuity of the lineage and the protection of women in a patriarchal society. Tamar's claim to her right to descent reflects the importance of these traditions. Furthermore, the mention of a cult prostitute at the city gates is consistent with religious practices of some Canaanite cultures, although Tamar used this disguise only as a strategy. Excavations in areas such as Tel Lachish and Gezer have revealed evidence of Canaanite cities with gates where commercial and social interactions took place, which aligns with the setting of the narrative. The lineage of Perez and Zerah also suggests connections to important clans in ancient Judah, indicating that this story had great historical relevance to the Israelites. Theologians have analyzed Genesis 38 as a narrative that interrupts the story of Joseph, but with strategic and theological purpose. The inclusion of the chapter demonstrates that God's redemptive work extends to all generations, even through failures and wrong decisions. Tamar is often seen as a figure of justice and perseverance, a woman who claims her place in the divine lineage despite adverse circumstances. Judah, on the other hand, is studied as an example of transformation, from a man who makes moral mistakes to one who acknowledges his guilt and repents. The birth of Perez is particularly significant, as his lineage would lead to David and eventually to Jesus Christ, highlighting God's sovereignty in fulfilling his promises. This chapter is a reminder that even in the most disorderly situations, God works to bring order and purpose, using unlikely people and circumstances to accomplish his eternal plan. Excavations at sites associated with Judah, such as Hebron and Bethel, reveal practices that help contextualize Genesis 38. Inscriptions and documents found in Bronze and Iron Age cities describe traditions of marriage, inheritance, and public judgments, similar to those presented in the story of Tamar. The discovery of tablets at Nuzi and Mari provides examples of levirate marriage and widows' rights to descent, practices common in several ancient Near Eastern cultures. At Tel Gezer, remains of gates and marketplaces suggest that areas such as these were sites of social interaction and trade, where Tamar would have disguised herself to carry out her plan. Furthermore, genealogies preserved in ancient texts show how lineages were highly valued and meticulously recorded, reflecting the importance of Perez's birth in the biblical narrative. These archaeological finds not only anchor Genesis 38 in a genuine cultural context, but also show how social practices influenced the lives and choices of the patriarchs. The story of Judah and Tamar resonates deeply in our contemporary world, where questions of justice, morality, and redemption remain relevant. Tamar represents the strength and courage needed to fight for rights and dignity in a society that often neglects the vulnerable. Her determination reminds us that even in adverse situations, it is possible to seek justice with wisdom and boldness. Judah, by acknowledging his mistake and confessing his failure, teaches the value of repentance and self-reflection, something essential in our lives today. Furthermore, the narrative shows us that human imperfections are not barriers to God's purposes. Just as Tamar and Judah were used for a greater purpose, we are challenged to see how our failures and challenges can be transformed into opportunities for growth and positive impact. Genesis 38 is a powerful reminder that God works in all situations, bringing purpose and redemption even in the darkest moments. Today, this story inspires us to fight for justice, acknowledge our mistakes, and trust that God can transform chaos into something extraordinary. If you liked this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like and share, and remember, each day is a new opportunity to call on the name of the Lord. Until next time.